start off, Lee, first of all, with some good news and some bad news, unfortunately. But I'm going to start with the good news, of course, first of all. Mickey signed a new contract.
Yeah, absolutely delighted to get it sorted. We obviously had an option in the contract, but we thought it was right to also reward him with an improved offer. So, you know, he's been brilliant this season, hasn't he? So really delighted that he's committed to that. And hopefully it's not just for, you know, the next 18 months, it's beyond that.
You met a real professional here, haven't you? In every way that he goes about his business since he actually arrived in the summer.
Yeah, he's a smashing fella, a really good fella. He is a top professional, but he's also bought into the way the club is, and he's embraced that, and he's actually made it better in terms of how he trains. Doesn't miss a training session, prepares for the games, and how he communicates. He knows how to communicate with the younger players. Being an older player, it's easy to, you know, shout at them, rant and rave, but he knows how to communicate with them, which I can imagine gains their respect, and they listen and they take, you know, valuable information on board.
Social media's gone, you know, really mad with how pleased that they are. The club has done this. How important was it that you can get him over the line, and particularly, you know, here we are just in the middle of February? Yeah,
like we say, we started speaking a few weeks back, and I was keen to make it an improved offer for him, because I think he deserves that. If you're doing well, you know, you should reward them. But it is pleasing, you know, to get the signing done, and it shows the intent that we're after. I want to keep the squad together as best as I can. There'll be factors in that which means I can't, but we want to keep this group of players together as much as possible. Hopefully some of the other players see the intent we've made, and, you know, we can start the ball rolling with one or two others as well.
Yeah, that could you know, fire off some other good positive news for you. You never know, do you?
Yeah, you don't. But what I'm not doing is putting the pressures the players under that pressure and scrutiny of contracts coming into play and people finding out that players have been offered contracts, and you know, we have a way of doing it and a way of how I like to do it, and respect the players in terms of what they're thinking moving forward. But like I say, the intent is to keep the group together for as long as possible.
Before we just move on to Luke Alford's situation, the captain's armband was handed to Mickey last week when Luke actually unfortunately came off injured. Would he be a leading contender if needed? Yeah,
he'll wear the armband. Obviously Chris Long is injured, but Mickey doesn't need an armband to be a captain. I don't think it'll alter his performances and how he goes about the games, just because he's got an armband on. He's off often, you know, particularly second half, the nearest one to the management team, and we speak to him. Luke's been playing midfield, so he's been all over the place, so we pass information on to Mickey in that sense. So he will lead the team out moving forward.
Well, let's get on to Luke Alford. It's taken a few days to get that diagnosed, exactly where you are with the injury. It's not good news. Bring your fans up to date with what's happened.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not good news. We thought it might have been a break, which there isn't, and he's done some severe damage to ligaments. Again, I'm not a physio, so I'm not going to try and say exactly what it is he's done, but it's not good. He'll see a specialist to decide what route they go down, but it's probably likely he'll need surgery for his career moving forward. You know, I spoke to him last night and gave him my advice on what I think would be the best thing, but again, I ain't a physio. It's just what the option I would have chosen if I was in his situation. But it's in a bit of blow, because there hasn't been many better players in this league than Luke Alford, from what I've seen, and you can do it with, you know, rose tinted glasses on because he's your player, but I truly believe he's been one of the standout players in this league this season. And he'll be a big miss because of how versatile he is and where he can play, and he's also our captain. So regardless of the team, I'm just really gutted for Luke. It looks like he's going to be missing the rest of the season.
Let's stay with the injuries then. We might as well stay where we are. We've seen Joel Taverner and Charlie Finney out on the social video from the club, and also Zach Williams. Where are those players up to now in terms of being ready for you?
Yeah, well, we've had the all clear with Joel Taverner, so he's going to rejoin the group for full training. He's been working really hard on his overall fitness, so then when he can rejoin the group, he's going to be integrated straight back into the matchday squad, so he will be available for Saturday. more than likely be on the bench, so that's really pleasing. Charlie is a little bit further behind. Obviously, he's had a big operation on both of his calves. So he'll be another week in terms of getting him in and around the first team. We've got a programme in terms of strengthening him up, but he's 10 days away, so that's really pleasing. Zach Williams will rejoin the group next week for full training, which means he'll be available for the following Saturday. So really pleasing on that front with the injuries. Obviously Jack Powell's moving along in his rehab. That's obviously going to be slower. Zach KD is struggling with a groin problem, which with rest will settle down. So we're hopeful, in the next couple of weeks he'll be available as well. And then Owen Lunt's struggling with his back. He's having a type of treatment which hopefully will just settle the pain down. But we think that's down to growing. So, you just got to be patient with it.
So you've brought us up to date with everything that's going on. How's your week going? It's been a free week for you in terms of no midweek game. Well, a few clubs have played in your division. Has that been benefit for you? Yeah,
we've been able to rest the players up, press the reset a little bit, been able to do some work on the next couple of games. So we get ahead of ourselves a little bit on that front. I'm able to go out and watch a game on Tuesday night with Ryan, which is good because obviously the games have been hard to be able to do that a lot this season. And it gives the most important thing is it gives the players the rest. It's easy to just keep throwing them out to the training ground, and at this stage of the season you don't need that. We need to have come up with a clear plan of how we're going to play on Saturday, so we can deliver that message really clear to the players, and work on that type of thing. So a good week in terms of having players back. We've obviously lost Luke Alford, but been a little bit of a rest this week.
Well, as we all know now, you're entering what they call the business end of the season. You're right in the mix, aren't you, for automatic promotion and the playoffs. It must be really pleasing to see where you are going into the final third. Yeah, it is really pleasing, isn't it, where we are in the league. But I'm not mentioning playoffs and top three, all that type of stuff. A lot of football to be played. Our concentration, and I'm sounding boring, has got to be on what's coming on Saturday. Like I say, we've been able to just look ahead a little bit, but without really going too far ahead. Our focus has got to be on Saturday, and it sounds so boring. And I'm not jeering anyone up by saying, yeah, we're going to do. I just want to focus on the next game, and that's how I will continue to work. It is interesting, isn't it? Here we are, how heavily congested League Two is. I think Walsall down in 16th position, somewhere like that. There's only 3 points in to 7th place Harrogate. Yeah, a lot to play for, isn't there? A real lot to play for. We were actually looking at it the other day and was just saying like the teams even at the bottom end, how well they've improved and picking up points. That end of the table is exciting, so we've got to play some of them teams, so they're going to be the really tough games. Someone can string 4 wins together and hope that teams above them don't win. They'll be right in the mix, won't they? So it's going to set out to be an exciting end to the season. It's good to be involved in that exciting end to the season. There's been a few years of being down in the doldrums, unfortunately, for the football club. But your next opponents are Notts County. They're in the shake-up as well. Since you last played them, of course, a new manager's come in. Have they changed? Not really changed, and I'm an admirer of how they play, the system they set up. They've changed formation a couple of times away from home, but he hasn't gone away from what he's taken up because they were playing well and they've got good players. So they haven't particularly changed in that manner. There's areas that he's been talking about which they need to tighten up on. But I'm an admirer of how they play and what they're looking to do. So it'll be a good game. I'm hoping we're giving them 1 or 2 things to worry about as well on the same front. I think they're the second highest scorers in the league. You're not far behind them. They've got 65 goals, but you've had 3 clean sheets in your last 4. It's got all the makings again of match of the day in League Two. Yeah, for the fans, I think they might hope that on both sides. It's an exciting game, but I think I alluded to it the other day, particularly if you look on Tuesday as well, the games are becoming really tight and there's a lot, like you say, there's a lot to play for, and that's on the back of the mind sometimes of certain teams and players. So things are tightening up, but yeah, you never know. Might be another 5-5-4, but I expect a tight game. And once again, the away following's there in the numbers. Over 1,000 are going to be at Meadow Lane.
Absolutely brilliant, and we probably don't speak about it enough. They've been brilliant, and after the Stockport game, the away fans, I didn't really reiterate enough how good they were, the loudest of the fans. And it's brilliant for the players to have that support, really, really good. To have that following, the singing throughout the game. We've obviously got to put performances on to allow that to happen. But let's hope we can transfer some of that again into home games as well, because we really need the fans, really important, so we can all enjoy and look to achieve something towards the latter end of the season.